The Tight Five.
5 separate sporting topics, roughly a minute or so on each. And when the bell reminds us, Lachlan, we'll move on to the next one. Well, Sam Cane, obviously, that's a story that he's given up the All Black jersey. You've got to talk about that. Man City have gone 21 unbeaten, 33 out of their last 34 games. Their last loss in the Premier League was on the 6th of December. Do I need to go on and on and on about this? Afternoon rugby. Weird, I know. Strange, I know. Whoever would have thought that would have dragged a crowd in Auckland, Lachlan? The Wahs conceded 22 points in 15 minutes. We won the last 65 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Stop it. Just stop. Stop it now. Stop that now. NBA today. Phoenix. Lots to talk about. Kick it off with Sam Cane. So breaking news is what?
I have a media release right here from New Zealand Rugby. Just came out at 2 o'clock during the news bulletin. Almost 12 years since making his All Blacks debut, Rugby World Cup winner and 2-time Super Rugby champion, Sam Cane has made the decision to bow out of the Test Arena at the end of 2024. The 32-year-old has decided to focus on spending more time with family and sign a long-term contract with Suntory Goliath in Tokyo. He'll return home at the end of the current Japanese club season, where he's on sabbatical and is eligible to be selected for the All Blacks in 2024, giving him the chance to become the team's 13th Test centurion. He will not be captaining. I saw this on Stuff. I'm yet to find it here in this release, but I saw it on Stuff. Sam Cane won't be the All Blacks captain this year.
No, I think that point would have been made to him loud and clear at the start of the year. Razor's going for a new boy, isn't he?
Well, do you know that?
Yeah, Scott Barrett.
So you know that? Have you heard that from someone?
Well, okay, I don't hear things that often, do I? But I think I got Jet Cleary right.
You got Jet Cleary right.
Yeah.
You got the Warriors bar right.
Yes.
Even though they wanted to act like it was News Hub scoop and it was actually
That's
you who first broke it.
Okay, so this one as well.
So you've heard this? It's going to be Scott Barrett.
Have I? I just think it's going to be Scott Barrett. Okay.
You've heard something. So even your colleagues, your close workmate who slaves away putting shows together, you won't even tell him you're good oil. All right.
So Sam Cane, how do we assess him as All Black captain? He was one game away, like Ian Foster, from being a national hero. He got sent off in that game though, and he got sent off in the Super Rugby final that same year. I think he's always suffered from the fact that he came on after a certain Richard Hume-McCaw. And, it's kind of like you're replacing Messi, you're replacing Mbappe, you're never going to replace that guy, and everyone's always looking at that guy and going, he's better than you.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing in the sense of being a captain for Kieran Reid, and it's in terms of the open side. But he wasn't it wasn't like... I
thought he was a brilliant number 7 for us.
No, but superb. In the last 2 or 3 years of Rich's career, he was pretty off. And Sam Cane was the best in New Zealand by some distance. His biggest issue is that not long after it was 2018, he had the broken neck?
Yeah.
That really killed it. From that moment, he started getting a lot of different injuries. Now, I remember in 2019, played some of his best rugby, swapping the 6 and the 7 jump with Ardie Savia for the All Blacks. But look, the last 4 years were incredibly tumultuous for the All Blacks, and probably the most tumultuous period, at least since the turn of the century. Is that fair to say?
I'd agree, yeah. Well, apart from 2009, when we lost, remember.
At least in a cycle, if you're talking about a group of years.
Yeah.
Any coach, captain, player who's able to consistently perform at a high level and really keep the nastiness of the public off their back during that period, well, that's impossible. So for Sam Cane to be as almost contentious with rugby fans as he is in this country is not a shock. It's a real shame.
I'm glad that we were there for that quarterfinal against Ireland, because he was a beast.
Yeah, best player in the park.
He was a beast during that game, people. Afternoon rugby.
What's your question? Yes, no?
I don't have a question. I'm just saying afternoon rugby.
You know what? Do you remember in 2020 when we came out of the first big lockdown?
And they played it. The Blues
played an afternoon game on a Sunday, I think it was. Sunday afternoon. It was in June or
Yes, I came off here.
May.
It was a fine day. It was
stunning
packed,
day. Absolutely packed
at Eden Park, okay?
It was and people still talk about that afternoon now when they're talking about Super Rugby, they're talking about the Blues, afternoon footy, whatever. They always bring up
Sky
that
TV.
game.
Stop being so goddamn selfish. It's not all about you. It's about the fans is what it's about. It's about the players and the sport. Do yourselves a favour. Because what Sky TV's problem is that, they don't play the match at 7 o'clock. They got a black hole sitting there on Channel 51, mate. Okay? And, there's no game to play. Well, how about shoving a few games in the afternoon and getting people re-energised and enthused and interested in it?
We have a talk show.
Oh, no, they couldn't have one of those because people might... Oh, no, they don't actually have talk shows where people criticise. Don't have a talk show, just have a cheese fest like you normally do.
What do the NRL do on Sundays, for example? You got a game New Zealand time, you got a game at 4, then a game at Eddie John's show at 8. We kept the weekend.
Why not?
Do that for rugby on a Saturday.
It's not that bloody difficult, is it? The Black Ferns versus United States and the Wallaroos versus Canada. Now, this tournament last year, same Pacific tournament, was played up in that hemisphere.
Yeah, they split it though. Weren't there a few games here?
No.
Or didn't we play the Aussies here?
No, it was all up there.
No, we played the Aussies here, didn't we?
Did we? Okay. All I remember is I switched on the TV to watch those games to see that there was no one at any of those games. And once again, international rugby or world rugby, whoever you like to call yourselves this week, you just don't think about this. You know, it's not enough just to schedule these games and to throw money at it. That's not getting people through the gate. Can't you see that? It's obvious to the rest of us. You know, you've got to actually just adjust on the fly a little. What's more important, you know, to me, is that they run out and they get a decent-sized crowd because that's what they deserve. They're the world champions. Why split your rugby audience like that? I don't get it. And I know that obviously, Martin, schedulers, you don't understand. The different competitions. Another committee, another pathways manager.
No, it's people finding reasons for something not to work.
There it is.
It's people refusing to use the creative juices in their brains that they supposedly have, which is why they're in those jobs you'd like to think that they have, but they can't get something done.
Would the Black Ferns be that offended if they ran out at 2 o'clock at Eden Park ahead of the Blues versus the Hurricanes? Because in terms of rugby importance, the Blues versus the Hurricanes is a more important game.
Yes. Well, look at how many people went to the Blues Hurricanes.
I rest my case, ladies and gentlemen. 29,000 turned up to watch that game. 5,000 turned up to watch the Black Ferns.
There was something I saw on Twitter over the weekend that said the Black Ferns are past the point, or women's rugby's past the point of being a curtain racer for men. It's not about being a curtain racer, but also, just quickly, no, it's not, because only 5,000 people turned up.
That's it.
So clearly, the sport isn't in a place where people are busting through the gates to watch it.
And that was $15 a ticket, okay? Okay, it was $15 a ticket and 5,000 people turned up. So, rugby, do the women the justice, or not justice, but do them what is actually required here. Do them because you're doing them a disservice. Do them a service, if that makes sense. Warriors conceded 15 points in... honestly...
22 points in 15 minutes.
It just looked like they were playing against an under-16 side at that stage, the Roosters. Every time they got the ball, they scored. And I asked, Kempy's obviously going to join us at 3 o'clock and talk about this. It's easy to put the hobnail boots on and give them a damn good kicking.
Do it.
I don't feel like that because I actually...
Why? Because you like the team and you don't want to criticise them.
No, it's
that's
not.
why.
It's not. Look, I'm happy to criticise them, and I have criticised them over recent weeks. I do like the team. Yes, that's guilty of that.
I'll tell you what.
But there was an awful performance, and it's been horrendous. On the back of a average performance against Manly, where they scunged a draw, a really disappointing effort against the Dragons, and another disappointing effort where they shipped 27 points unanswered against the Titans and lost that game. So you're talking 4 matches in a row where they've been very unconvincing. And it's a side that has lost its way. There's no question.
5. They've lost 4 in a row, haven't they?
Oh, God, the Knights as well. Yeah, sorry, if I got that game.
And it's the Manly game.
Okay, so five matches in a row.
Look at the bare facts. This is the thing that really frustrates me about the Warriors, because there's this groundswell, this bandwagon in New Zealand that really needs to slow down. This is a team that for 5 weeks now have failed to win a game. I think 3 of those games dead set are matches they should have won, because they, at least on paper and based on last year's form and supposedly based on how strong the team is and their coach, hype that I've bought into slightly as well, that they are better than those teams. Knights, Dragons, Titans. Now, in this stretch as well, 2 of these games have been at home. There's no excuses for the performances right now. These are players that hit certain heights last year and aren't doing it this year.
No, they're not.
And this is the thing. You've got, and you say it better than anyone else, you've got to ride the wave, you've got to give them their props when they're playing well. Everyone, including us, gave them their props last year and said, spectacular year, well done, keep it up. They're not playing well at the moment, so for the percentage, the effort, what if you want to say it, that you're going to rip into them, that you're going to praise them, you've got to give it to them as well.
And they deserve it.
They do deserve it. They have been appalling the last month or so.
I mean, there's no player there that could probably... I'd say Mitch Barnett. Apart from him, I don't even think Adam's playing that well. I think he's kind of trundling as opposed to rumbling.
I think Adam's tapping out.
It as a whole, and I don't see how they get out of it. But let's just look at what happened at the back end of last season, where they won 11 games out of 14 to close. They're going to have to do something like this again.
And that run of winning that number of games, who did they not play in that stretch?
Okay, the best teams in the competition.
Best teams in the competition.
Okay, bloody point. Let's talk about the NBA, because this is remarkable. The Timberwolves humbled the defending champion Denver Nuggets in that second game. Remember, it was over in the second quarter, Lachlan. The second quarter. Now, they've gone up to Minnesota, and they're going to win back-to-back games here. What does that tell you about them?
I don't know.
Tells me that they're a champion team, is what it tells me.
They couldn't win 2 at home.
Yeah, but I mean, a champion team would be down 3-1 in this series and right up against it.
You love this Denver team, right?
I'm so impressed, mate. I mean, the trouble with so many NBA players is they give up.
Hold up. Be impressed when they win Game 5.
Okay.
They haven't won Game 5 yet. So as it stands, even if they win this, they drop 2 at home, but then they won 2 on the road.
Okay, so it's a 3-game series and they get 2 out of 3 at home.
You've got to wait until they can actually take the lead. If they win Game 5, I'm on board. I agree with you.